Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Get ready to listen to inspirational stories that show you how to overcome various challenges. Our host, Nancy Solari, is a motivational speaker and trustworthy life coach. Despite being legally blind, she maintains her vision for life and empowers our viewers to live full out. Our guests all have incredible stories to tell about the difficulties they've faced and how they survived. Join us now as our guests bravely open themselves up to teach us what they've learned throughout their struggles. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and I'm so excited to have you here. We have a very inspiring lineup of guests today, and we want to focus our attention today on getting motivated so that we can really step into the authentic selves that we are. Sometimes that means releasing an ego, feeling like that we can do anything. That's a great feeling, but not if it doesn't come with being humble in times in our life. Also, sometimes we can feel ashamed. We can feel small if others put us down or maybe torture us with name calling or making us feel bad about ourselves. Today, I want you to empower yourself to push all that aside and know that you are worth it. In my life, going visually impaired has really been a journey, and it's come with its ups and downs. And as everybody who has been going through a financial challenge or a relationship stress or any of those events in our life can be very frustrating. And so for anybody today who may be encountering those moments in life, you're at that crossroad, this is the time when you want to tap into the motivation so you truly can live your life full out. I remember maybe 3 years ago now when I was on a date. This gentleman took me on a date. I was so excited. It was only our second date, but I didn't want to tell him that I was legally blind. Believe it or not, I thought I could fake it. How many of us fake things in life, right? A lot of us. And so he takes me on this date, big surprise, ends up taking me on a gondola ride. So he takes me to the water, top of the ramp going down to the deck. And I was like, oh my God, it is pitch dark. I can't see anything. And of course, my ego would not allow me to tell him that I was legally blind. What a simple answer to that, right? I didn't do that. Instead, I packed up my arms with some strawberries, champagne, and some blankets, and he carried something else. And we got to the top of the ramp, and he's like, go ahead. And I go, no, you go first. I thought, well, I'll just follow him. So as he went down the ramp, I followed the moon shining on his hair, and I was like, I got this. Well, somewhere along the way, he took a right, and I just kept walking. I literally walked right off the dock into the water. It was a very chilly experience, I will tell you. It was cold, it was dark, and I just out of that water very fast. But here's the thing. Sometimes we need those wake-up calls. I needed that moment to say, Nancy, not only did I let my ego get in the way, but this could have been a very scary experience. I could have got hurt. So what I learned from that experience and why I share this story with you is that it is so important that in life we be authentic. We share with people what is happening in our lives. Sometimes though, when we're caught in a nest of frustrations and stresses, we feel cut off at the throat and we can't express our fears, express our shame. But again, I encourage you to consider what's occurring in your life and be able to step out there and really grab hold of life in a big way so that you can be free to be yourself. We have a lot of guests today who are going to be great examples of that and give you the empowerment you need to take your own step in your life. So I'm getting word from our producers that we actually have a caller on the line. Her name is Erica. She's from Miami, Florida. And I have to say, Erica, I am so proud of you for calling in, being very courageous to share, what is that stress in your life? So I'd like to go to the lines now. We have Erica. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Erica. How are you doing today?
I'm great.
Good.
So my question is, I will be traveling abroad this summer to Spain with another girl that is from my university. And so my question is, how would you recommend, or do you have any advice on how I can kind of really get the most out of this experience, really immerse myself in the Spanish culture, but, still kind of maintain my relationship with my friend? I'm also kind of scared that I will kind of stay in my comfort zone and only hang out with her. So do you have any advice on how to kind of get out there, get out of my comfort zone, but still maintain my relationship with my friends.
You actually bring up such a great question. And I actually went on that same kind of a journey because I went to Japan and was an exchange student many years ago. So I do remember that need to step outside your comfort zone. And it can be a little bit scary, especially when you're in a foreign land trying to do your best to communicate with others. It's comforting to know that you have someone who speaks your language, who you can share those stressful times with. So I'm really glad that you're calling in about this. Here's the thing. I want you to take with you little gifts. You know, when I went to Japan, I took candies. I took little mementos that I knew I could give away to those that I met. It just made it a little easier. Sometimes when you have a conversation piece, maybe it's a magazine that you're taking over there that has an article that means something to you. Maybe it's a book. Any talking piece will allow you to start that conversation. And really, I do believe that you're going to find out a lot about their culture. You know, what do they think about our magazines, our books, our TV shows? You know, you can name it. Think of all those conversations you could have, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, when you do find yourself slipping, meaning that you're feeling that kind of nervous feeling and you do want to hang out with your other American friend, do it. It's okay. It's really okay. Push yourself out there when you can, but you're going to have a lot of highs and lows. It's going to be a wonderful experience, but you definitely are going to have times where you're going to need that warm and fuzzy feeling. You know, for me, like when I get stressed out, I love mac and cheese. Makes me feel good. All right? Yeah. So sometimes when you're going to be over in that foreign land, you're going to need just to bask in somebody who gets you, who gets what you're going through. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
So do you have some of those little gifts that you can take with you? Have you already started thinking about that?
I really hadn't until you brought that up, but I think that's a great idea. I like the candy idea, you know, maybe bring some American candy or something like that over there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or research ahead of time. You know, what do they not have over there that we have over here? You know, what could you bring that would be novelty? And I promise you, you're going to go on and have great relationships. Try to exchange as much information as you can, emails, mailing addresses. You know, you may or may not call people that much depending on the long distance charges. So just, you know, enjoy yourself. But I think it's great that you're thinking about that ahead of time.
Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Well, have a great trip and do call back in. We'd love to hear how the trip goes and all those new friends that you met.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, Erica. Have a great day. What a great adventure. And really, aren't we all on the adventure of life? You know, I join this website called Meetup sometimes. I'll go to these get-togethers in my area. It might be a writing group. It might be a social networking group. It might be just a fun play games group. The thing is to meet people, whether it be in a foreign country or right in our own neighborhood, it can still be a little nerve-wracking sometimes. It can still be scary. So I invite everybody today to push themselves outside their comfort zone and just go for it. Again, our guests today are going to give you plenty of inspiration to help motivate you to take that next step. So when we come back, I am just thrilled to introduce you to Shayla Logan. Wow. Her story is not only going to inspire you, but it's going to make you really relish in all the positive attributes of your life. Believe it or not, she was in 23 foster homes over her life. She had a mentally ill mom that used to torture her and abuse her. But today, she's married, she mentors foster kids, she makes 6 figures a year. She's really turned her life around in a big way. So when we come back, we'll be with Shayla Logan. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I'm Nancy Solari, and I'm very, very excited to introduce my next guest, Shayla Logan. I mean, here's the thing. We all grow up differently. We all have one parent, two parents, no parents, but Shayla's story is really quite unique. She was actually in 23 different foster homes. She did have to deal with abuse at the hands of her mother. She dealt with suicide. She dealt with the loss of her father. So many different times in which she could have just given up, but she didn't. She pressed forward, and she truly has an inspirational story. Welcome, Shayla. So nice to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was so excited about today's interview because really, you to me are such a source of strength. And we know that you're a love ambassador. We're going to get to that later, but you are truly unconditional love, just bundled up in one big, wonderful being, okay? And I really want you to know that from me to you. But I wanted to go back a bit so that, you know, our audience can really understand, you know, the abuse that you did, incur from your mom. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, I think looking back on my life, I really have reached the conclusion that my mother was probably mentally ill. Because I think a lot of the things that she did to me weren't things that someone who has their full mental capacity would do to another human being. You know?
And what were some of those ways that she tortured you? And I hate that I have to say that, but they were very real for you in countless ways.
Yes, absolutely. There were things like, you know, I one time I lost my house keys and she decided that I couldn't come in the house and I had to sleep in the doghouse with the dogs in the dead of winter, and the dogs laid on top of me to keep me warm throughout the night. And she kept me locked in an attic. She burned me with cigarettes. She held my face in the shower stream, kind of waterboarding me essentially. There were a lot of different things that she did for various reasons that she had.
Now, as a child, you just wanted to please your mom.
Well, yeah.
You just wanted to be the daughter that assisted her when she needed, but again, you said she was mentally ill. So how did you survive that time?
You know, I think initially, like, I didn't know that there was anything different. And so it was normal to me that's how, people lived, was, living in those types of conditions. I think as I grew older and kind of realized that my situation wasn't normal and that I was, perhaps being abused or tortured or whatever word that, we want to put on it, I think that at that point I started to just kind of check out. Like, I created this fantasy world in my head where I lived, where everybody was nice and didn't, beat you and didn't, do mean things to you and that kind of thing. And I think that eventually that led me to being diagnosed as mentally ill, because I started to live in that world to the point where I just didn't want to come back into, the real one anymore.
Right. You just needed to do what you needed to do to protect yourself.
Absolutely.
Mentally, emotionally, physically.
Yeah.
On top of being abused by your mom, you had to really care for your father as he passed. And I know that's still to this day a tough thing for you to talk about. But can you share with us a little bit about the responsibility that, how old were you? Gosh, 6, 7?
I was 7 when my dad got sick. He had prostate cancer. And when he got sick, him and my mom had divorced a couple years prior to that. But when he got sick, she brought him to our house and put him in my room and told me that it was my responsibility to take care of him and to keep him alive. And so I would go to school, and then I would come home from school, and I would feed him, and I would bathe him, and I would talk to him, and I would read him books, and all these other things that in my 7-year-old mind you do when you're taking care of someone. And it was really hard when he passed away, because I believed, and even if I hadn't reached the conclusion by myself, my mother told me that it was my fault that he died. And so I spent a lot of years thinking that I had killed my father, that I was a murderer.
And you know that that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate how you might have felt. And, if you could go back in time and hold that 7-year-old and tell her some words of motivation, what would you tell her in that moment, taking care of her dad?
I think that I would tell her that we're all doing the best that we can with what we have in the moment, and that her mom didn't know any better, and that it wasn't her fault, and that she never should have been put into that position to begin with.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that would be great advice. Now, the day did finally come when you were saved, when you were rescued from this abusive environment.
Right.
Can you share with us about that?
Well, I had an incident where as I grew older, I became, like I said, more and more checked out. And there was an incident between my mom and I where one of the things that she consistently did was to give me tasks with impossible time limits. And so one night she had a dinner party, and she let me out of my room afterwards and said, "You have 10 minutes to clean the kitchen." And 10 minutes came and went, and I clearly did not have the kitchen completely clean by then. And she came in, and she grabbed my head, and she smashed my face into the counter. And I happened at that moment to be washing a butcher knife. And I turned around, and I held the knife to her throat. And I looked at her dead in her eyes, and I said, "One of these days, I'm going to kill you." And she laughed at me. And a couple days later, I was in a psychiatrist's office because clearly I was crazy for threatening my mom with a butcher knife. And it's interesting because I remember his office. I remember what he looks like. I remember him having me sit down and asking me what my name was. And to this day, I can't remember a thing that I said after that. But shortly thereafter, we got a call saying that he had called social services on my mom. And so they started having a social worker come out once a week for weekly visits. And, my mom would dress me up and sit next to me with her arm around me, and everything would be wonderful and lovey-dovey until the lady left. And this went on for a couple of months, and then one day the lady left, and my mom was actually beating me with a 2x4, and the lady walked back in the house.
Wow.
She said that she had forgotten her briefcase, and I don't know if it was legitimate or if she did it on purpose or if she even had a briefcase. I don't know, but they called the cops in that moment, and the police showed up, and they took me away.
Now, you were 12 years old.
I was 12 years old.
50 pounds.
Yeah, 50 pounds. My mom had decided when I hit, I don't know, like 10 or 11, I started developing, and she decided I was getting fat, and so therefore I needed to stop eating.
And again, that's just not sensible.
Exactly.
And I'm so glad that rescue day came. And it really gives a lot of kudos to that social worker to come back, whether she meant to or not.
Exactly.
But boy, was she an angel for you that day.
Yeah.
Your journey from there, you're in and out of all these foster homes throughout your life. But later on, at what age were you when you started to just really check out of your life? You wanted to kill yourself.
I was 16 when I had my first suicide attempt. Ironically, the whole, pretty much the whole time from the time they took me away from my mom until I turned 18, there was this constant, I considered it a threat of being sent back to her. And so the first time that it happened, that they said, we're going to try and reunite you with your mom, we're going to send you back. I was in a foster home, and one of my foster sisters convinced me to try and steal something from a store, and we got caught. And I was in trouble for shoplifting, and so I couldn't go back to my mom. So it occurred to me pretty quickly that if I was in trouble, if I did something, anything, then they wouldn't send me back there. And so my behavior became more and more erratic to keep me from getting sent back to my mom.
On a lighthearted note, you're a smart cookie.
Oh yeah.
You were not going back.
No.
You were not going to go back.
No.
But sadly, you kept trying to kill yourself.
Yes.
And I'm thankful for the day that you didn't, the day that you couldn't. Can you share with us about that?
I was 19 years old when I had my last suicide attempt. And I woke up that morning, and it was really kind of odd because I woke up that morning and I opened my eyes, and my inner voice said to me, "You're going to die today." And despite all of the times that I had tried to kill myself, like, I don't think I ever really wanted to die. I think I just didn't want the life that I had, you know.
I get that.
And so hearing that, you know, having that knowledge that, you know, something inside of me saying you're going to die today, like, just terrified me. So I went down to a neighbor's house and I asked to use his phone, and I called Suicide Hotline. And I was having this conversation with the guy on Suicide Hotline, and, you know, I said, I need help, and if I don't get it, I'm going to die today. And he said, well, what do you need? And I said, I have no idea. I need help.
Just reaching out.
I just need help. And if I don't get it, I'm going to die today. Right. And we kind of had this circular conversation for, you know, 20, 30 minutes. And then, worst customer service ever. Suicide Hotline guy says, can I call you back? I need to take another call.
Wow. And you're laughing today because
right, yes,
you can't help but laugh.
Exactly.
So what did you do?
I was like, well, sure.
Okay.
You know, okay.
Call me back.
Yeah, call me back. And so I hung up the phone, and I started walking up the stairs back to my apartment, and I had this thought, and I was like, you know, my entire life has belonged to somebody else. Like, I've always been somebody else's scapegoat or somebody's punching bag or something. Like, none of this has ever been mine. And if I really am going to die today, it's going to be on my terms. And so I went up the stairs to my apartment, and I took a 6-month supply of a medication that I had been prescribed, but it was a derivative of something I was allergic to, and so I had stopped taking it, but I just kept going in and getting refills.
You thought it would do the trick, though.
Yeah. So, and apparently the guy did call back, and they came up and to get me for the phone, and that's when they found me.
Wow.
And they took me to the hospital, and when we got to the hospital, I had a near-death experience. I was dead on the table for 5 minutes, and I remember like seeing my body laying in the bed and seeing everyone rushing around trying to revive me. And
such a powerful moment that until one is there, I don't think any of us can quite imagine.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, so obviously you lived, you're here with us today, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
But what out of that near-death experience and kind of taking you to where you are today, how did that change you? And how did it make you today who you are?
It's really interesting because I think that for a lot of years in my life, I felt like that experience changed me in some way. Because I truly did, on many levels, it was a spiritual experience, and it really altered, the person that I was. And so I, for many, many years, said, like, that changed me. And then I realized, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, that it didn't change me. It simply uncovered who I already was. It took all of the pain and the hurt and the trauma and the drama that I was, the true me was buried under, and helped to remove that so that I could be, who I already was.
Wow.
And I think that that's a part of what kind of fed into the work that I do today is helping other people kind of uncover themselves without necessarily having to go to the depths of the bottom that I did of dying.
Well, and it's interesting because I personally would have a fear of being abused. My father did pass. I have a fear of losing parents. I would have a fear of being homeless. I would have a fear of killing myself. And really, today, you are a fear buster.
Right.
I mean, that's what you call yourself because you help others break through those fears, those negative situations.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's really amazing. And then on top of that, you were given the award of being a love ambassador.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
There's an organization called the Love Foundation, which is the world's largest organization that studies the understanding and application of unconditional love. And they have a program that they started, I believe, back in 2004, where they search for people that they feel embody unconditional love in their everyday lives. And they award them with the title of Love Ambassador. And I was given the title back in 2011. And I actually got on the, I got on the website and I counted the number of people that, globally that had been given this title. And out of 7 billion people on the planet, they'd only found 300 that they awarded the title by, when I haven't counted recently.
And you're one of those.
And I'm one of them.
That is, why does it not surprise me though? You know, I just honestly, like I said earlier, I'm so proud to be with you today, and you are just a bundle of love in so many ways. I felt it through the phone every time we talked. I mean, for everybody, just so you know, like when I saw her today, I gave her like the hugest hug, makeup all over her shirt. But honestly, people just trust their hearts with you, and that's a great way to be. Yeah. So I'm so glad that you came in today and that you were able to share with our audience your story. And it just takes my breath away in a good way that there's people like you walking this planet, helping others.
Thank you.
And I really want to say thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, thank you so much. And we're going to be coming back shortly with another very, very empowering story with Papa Joe. Imagine finding out one day you're 450 pounds. But then over 18 months, you're able to lose 250 of it. How do you do that? We'll find out when we come back.
We know that walking a little bit each day can drastically improve your health, but there are few examples more dramatic than that of my next guest. House music recording artist Papa Joe.
Papa Joe!
Papa Joe Avian.
I was working in a video store, and this music producer
Named DJ Eddie Amador walked in.
and approached me to do vocals on a track. I was featured in a music video called Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. I saw how big I was. I couldn't believe it. I knew I had to do something to get this weight off of me once and for all. So I asked myself, what was the easiest exercise that I could do? Walking. And after only a few years, I lost over 250 pounds. With all my success, I started to gain attention from the media.
He has lost over 250 pounds. This is a new personal hero of mine.
He started walking 5 miles a day. Then he started buying his food from the 99-cent store.
The company decided to make me their brand ambassador.
Today is the day we walk more, eat better, and live longer.
So I've worked with the American Heart Association.
What I love is you're inspiring others.
I was motivating people to be a little healthier, get out there and walk. In the midst of it, I'm walking, I'm happy, lost 250 pounds. I mean, literally, I was on a roll.
When the accident happened, I thought my life was over.
It's heartbreaking because I worked really hard. Yeah. Worked really hard.
So I want to motivate people. I want to bring people joy. I want to make people happy. But here I am, laying up in a hospital bed.
Oh my gosh.
I really just wanted to give up.
I came to a point where I wanted to tell everybody, I'm done.
I just become a couch potato one more time.
I needed to find inspiration to keep going. I thought about all the people that I met along my journey.
6'2", 350-pound woman, I felt like I was invisible. You have to realize that you're worth fighting for.
You deserve it.
Everyone deserves to be happy.
I walked 2.2 miles today, and I am very proud of myself. My life's not over. No. You only live life once, and you live life to the fullest. And that's what I'm doing, enjoying life.
You gotta stay focused and passionate. If that's what you want to do, and that's who you want to be.
All my hard work was paying off and things were looking up.
The police are putting the cause of accident on me.
Oh, that's not good.
I know now, more than ever, I need to stay focused.
Your dreams are worth fighting for. They really are.
Inspired.
What an inspiring story. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show, and I just cannot imagine how Papa Joe did that. All that it must have taken, all that discipline and willpower and not running to get an Oreo. Papa Joe, I am so happy to have you here. Honestly, you are just, talk about energy. I mean, I've been following you, looking at all your videos, your website, and I mean, you are the real deal.
Thank you. I try to be.
Absolutely.
Try to be.
And I mean, we just saw this clip of your story and so amazing, but you know, I'm just trying to lose another 20 pounds. I can imagine losing 250. When you stepped on that scale and you saw that you were 450 pounds, I mean, gulp, a couple gulps, right?
Yeah.
How did you get yourself in the mindset of even trying to lose weight? Did you feel defeated? What was that emotionally like for you?
Emotionally starting out, I didn't feel confident within myself. I had a lot of self-esteem issues. I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. There were times where I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have food on it, and as long as I didn't have food on it, I was good to go. But I didn't like myself. But then became a time where, you know, I did the Last Night a DJ Saved My Life, and it became a top 10 Billboard dance hit, and that's where I said that was my wake-up call, because I got to do something that I was passionate about and I was excited about.
And this is your big shot.
This is my big shot.
And you wanted an ongoing career.
I wanted an ongoing career.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep it going. So I said to myself, okay, you've got to get rid of this weight once and for all. And so I just had to say, what was the easiest exercise that I could do? And that was walking.
Which is amazing,
Thank
because
you.
it is easy.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you break a sweat just instantly walking? No, sometimes it takes time,
No,
right?
it took time. It took time, and over a course of 18 months, walking up to 5 miles a day, rain or shine, I was able to lose, my weight.
How did you not get bored? Because I love walking, but I do my Jane Fonda's. Love you, Jane. But I have to switch up her videos from time to time.
Okay.
How did you not get bored with walking every day for 18 months?
I changed my route.
Okay.
I changed my route. That's how I stayed active and made it fun. I would also do push-ups on the street. I would also do dips in the corner, on a park bench.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So just to make sure I stay active and just change it up a little bit.
Awesome. And I'm just curious, what did you listen to? What was your music of choice?
Oh, dance music.
Of course.
Dance music.
Of
Gotta
course.
it keeps me moving and grooving.
Of course. Now, you told me,
Yes.
I don't know if this is public or not, but
Okay.
a lot of the songs that you would listen to were your own.
Correct.
And what made me feel so great about that is not only were you trying to evolve and better yourself physically, but you were filling your soul with being able to envision. Here you are singing, it's hitting your mind, right?
I wanted to, like you said, I'm hearing my words, and it was empowering myself, just to keep going and just to keep motivated.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stop.
That's
After I lost the first 10 pounds, I'm like, oh, let's keep going.
Yeah, I bet you got over that hump.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we all know working out is part of it, but
Correct.
so is diet. So, you went in, we saw that you kind of raided your fridge, you took out the bad stuff, put in the good stuff, and you found,
The 99 cent only.
That's right.
Yes.
and all of that is great, but I'm just so curious. Going to the 99-cent store. Now, take this the best way, but you're a man. You're tall.
Yeah.
You're going in there. I mean, there might be a lot of female shopping, but here you are finding the 99-cent store.
Just
Look
like
at
they
you.
are. Just like they are. A smart shopper.
I was so impressed. I was like, look at him. And what did you start with? What did you start buying?
Apples, oranges, and cucumbers and strawberries.
Wow.
That was what I first started out with, and salads. And tuna salads.
Very good.
Tuna salad, oatmeal, fruits and vegetables, and mixed vegetables.
That was your staple.
That was my staple.
And then you would switch it up just like your routes from time to time.
Switch
so
up
you
my
don't
routes
get
so I
bored.
don't get bored.
Yeah.
And then that starting at walking, and then as I started motivating people within my community, and then shopping at the 99-cent only stores. Now I'm reaching out to another community.
Yeah.
Of 99ers who are out there just trying to stay healthy as well. So it really has been motivating me and just to keep going and just to stay active. And that's what it really is about, is we have to stay active. We're not in a position, we weren't meant to stay, just stay sitting. We were meant to move. We were meant to move. That's why we were able to walk. That's why we were able to talk and do the things we were able to do, but let's stay active. That's the problem, is that we're not getting active enough.
Well, and what I loved is you got creative because you were unemployed at the time, right? You didn't have money to go join a gym, to go to the, Whole Foods or, go buy some.
Whole Foods, I'm sorry to say this, but Whole Foods took my whole paycheck.
Yeah, I bet.
Sorry.
No, it's true though.
I couldn't survive. I had to find a way to survive, and that's what the 99-cent store was there for me.
I love the way your mind works. And so now, 18 months later,
Yes.
you lost all this weight. And
Correct.
now you have an example
I do.
of one
I
of your
do.
pants,
Here,
right?
Let me show you.
See.
Here, grab that in right there.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Now, what size is this?
This is, go ahead, rub it across all the way top.
Whoa, how far does this go, Papa Joe? Wow.
Size 56.
A size 56.
56.
And what are you today?
36.
36.
Yes. Actually, to be honest with you, nope. I just tried on my first pairs of 34s, and
Oh,
they fit.
awesome,
And they
awesome.
fit. And they fit.
Getting
I'm so
into
happy.
that summer weight.
Yes,
I love it.
I'm like,
love
yes.
it. This is just so amazing to me. And bravo to you again for losing that weight.
Thank you.
You know, it's interesting because you're so joyful. I mean, you have this energy. I mean, you clearly, the music that you sing and everything that you do just resonates. But it all kind of came to a screeching halt, unfortunately, the day of your accident.
Yes.
And to have such momentum, to lose all that weight, and then to have the accident happen. I mean, walk me through a little bit of how you handled that blow, that mindset shift now.
Well, a year ago, I was hit by a car on a bike. I was involved in a bicycle accident. I was hit by a car. I suffered broken patella and tendons right down to the bone. So basically, I started walking, and I lost all this weight by walking, and then to just get crushed by an obstacle by getting hit by a car, and now I'm not able to walk. So for 6 months, I had to put myself in the mindset of not being able. I didn't want to go back to where I was, and I knew that I had to do something about it to stay active, or just a little bit, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, just to work at it, to keep going. Because I don't know if I told you this, but when I got out of surgery, out of the hospital, the first words I said to the doctor were, "When can I walk?"
I believe.
When can I walk?
Yeah.
So it's hard, and I know we all have obstacles that we have to overcome. But for my obstacle, you know, I didn't want to feel defeated. I wasn't going to allow myself to be defeated again. You know, I'd already been through the struggle of the weight loss and overcome that obstacle. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to let this get me down either.
I love that.
Not going to let this get me down.
I just love that. I mean, it's interesting. I was in an accident last June where I broke 4 ribs, punctured my lung. It was an umbrella that took me out. And the thing is I have to admit, I was in bed for several weeks. And I didn't work out. And so many times people might do that. They're depressed, which is a valid reason sometimes to stay in bed if you're mentally not feeling strong or stable, or maybe they're injured. But what I love about it is you weren't settling for that.
No.
You were like, I am gonna walk, I'm gonna stay fit. And where did that drive come from?
Not wanting to go back.
Not wanting to go back.
Honestly, I don't want to go back to this. I don't want to go back to this anymore. To my pant size again. I don't want to do that. So I will take every means possible and every step possible that I have within myself to do what I need to do for myself and to be the best person that I can be.
Now, are the people in your life supportive? I'm hoping they are, but some people were probably used to you being that size.
Correct.
You were always that.
I will
that
always
Papa
be.
Joe.
I will always be that Papa Joe to them.
To them.
Yeah.
How are those relationships today?
They're a little bit difficult. They're challenging. But you know, I just keep putting myself around them to say, hey, look, this is the new me. This is who I am. You know, and hopefully you can accept me. If not, gotta let you go.
And who are you? Who are you today? Who are you compared to the little larger Papa Joe?
I'm happier.
You're happier.
I'm happier. I'm excited about life. I put a smile on my face every time I get up in the morning. You know, because I knew it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. One of my models is that use what you have and work with what you have.
I love that.
Yeah.
Use
what you have and work with what you have. And be happy with what you have.
And work with what you have.
And be happy with what you have. And that's one of the things you have to learn. There are so many things and other things that you want to do and accomplish in life, but learn to be happy with what you have right now and work with what you have.
You know, that touches me because, you know, being legally blind, I can't see everything that I wish I could see, but I can hear I love you. I can hear music like you are. I can hear birds. So just be happy with what you have.
And appreciate that. Appreciate that because you do have that for you.
Absolutely.
You have that going for you, and that's a great thing.
Absolutely. Now, you were selected because of all this momentum, all you've been through, the American Heart Association. They came to you, right?
Yes.
I mean, just more people are coming
Yeah,
to you.
yes.
Doors are opening all the time. Tell me about that relationship.
I started working with the American Heart Association. They came to me last year, and they wanted me to tell my story and get out there and share my story and just be genuine about everything that I'm doing and to try to motivate others. And they've offered me the Lifestyle Change Award.
Wow.
For 2013 and 14.
Wow. Doubleheader there.
So yeah. So I mean, it's working with charities and something that I really love doing. I'm passionate about doing that anyway. And they have such a good message. You know, they are about being healthy and being active. And that's something that I want to be a part of, you know, because I'm go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if weight does not get under control,
Correct.
it can get away from you.
Yes.
It almost got away from you.
It almost got away with me. I always joke and say I was 2 cheeseburgers away from a heart attack.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
And I saved myself, so.
Is it bad to say I had a burger last night?
It's okay, long as you walk it off. Long as you walk it off tomorrow morning, you're good to go.
Exactly.
And that was one of my tricks too. That was one of my tricks when I went to McDonald's. I wouldn't deprive myself of certain foods during my weight loss. If I wanted a hamburger, I walked to McDonald's and go get it.
Just to nip that craving in the bud.
Well, I'd walk there, get the hamburger, walk back, and then I'd sit down and enjoy it. But at least I put in a little bit of effort just to get it going.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's terrific.
So you don't have to deprive yourself. Just walk there and do a little work to get it.
Absolutely. Now, you are building a legacy. Everything that's layered on each other over the years, it's a legacy that you're building. What is the biggest message for you to share with others?
Appreciate your health.
Tell me about that.
Appreciate your health. Appreciate being alive. You may not be the most richest person in the world, but you know what? You opened your eyes this morning and you started breathing. You know, and enjoy that. And also to love yourself first before you can start loving others. You know, but really to appreciate your health and what you have, and realize, you know, you may not be where you want to be, but you can get there if you just take the steps to do so.
I love that.
You know?
I love that.
Just really take small steps, baby steps.
Baby steps,
That's it.
really. And everybody listen to that. Baby steps. Doesn't
it.
mean they have to walk 5
No,
miles day
not at all.
one. It could just be 1 mile.
That's it. Just
around the block.
30 minutes a day. Just 30 minutes a day. That's all you have to do to stay. And did you know, I just found this little tidbit out. If you walk 365 days for 30 minutes a day, will add 2 weeks onto your life.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I did not. But the more I hang out with you, I swear I'm going to live to be 100 with you. This is great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in
Thank you
today.
so much for having me.
You are just such a light in this
Thank you.
world, and I appreciate all the great advice you've given us, and we're all going to take it to heart. I
you.
never think of walking the same way now, and if I don't walk, I feel like I'm a little bit slacking with Papa Joe here, but thank you again for coming
Thank you so
in.
much.
So how inspiring is that? Everybody get out there, walk, make good food choices. That's what it's about. We have the ability to choose the right way to go. So when we come back, we're going to head into the coaching corner. Deanna is waiting for me. We're going to have a very in-depth session about overcoming fear. Again, we all have fear, so stay tuned.
Imagine relaxing with a cup of the finest tea in existence. Complex, perfectly balanced, fragrant teas that were once only reserved for emperors and royalty are now yours to enjoy with Waterfall Teas. With a range of fragrances, flavors, and pleasures selected from the most elite tea regions in the world, the nectar of the tea leaves of our exquisite teas spreads goodness from the mouth to the whole body, making every essence of your being rejoice. Go to waterfallteas.com and let Waterfall Tea Company be your personal tea sommelier. waterfallteas.com.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I'm Nancy Solari, and now we are in the coaching corner. Now I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite segments of the show because everybody who comes to the coaching corner is looking for personal growth. They're looking to bust through those fears that are holding them back. They're looking to really grab their life with both hands and live their lives full out. But how do we do that? Sometimes we just have to talk to somebody. We have to make decisions. We have to take action. So I really want to introduce today Deanna. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So, you know, we've talked a little bit in further sessions about various fears and challenges that you're having. How are you today? What's on your mind today?
You know, I'm still a very fearful person. It's a little bit below the surface now, where I'm still functional, obviously, and I'm just, right now I'm dealing with juggling a lot and a lot of uncertainty about the future, and just a lot of self-doubt.
What are you most uncertain about in your life?
I'm just uncertain as far as how I'm going to get through. I know I'll be able to get through school, but getting through school, passing, getting through state licensure, it's a lot, and it's more of the fear of not being smart enough. Not, I would never tell this to anybody, but I have a lot of intellectual insecurity. Like, I have a fear of not being smart enough, a fear of not knowing how to get through the ropes of different systems. And
Did somebody at one time tell you that you weren't smart enough, not good enough? Where does this doubt come from?
I don't know if it was ever told to me, but I've always believed it, and I always believed that I had to work harder than other people.
And why? Why you? Why do you have to work harder than other people?
I guess it goes back to being really young and just struggling at school. And I was held back. And that was mostly because I grew up in a pretty a rough neighborhood. The school systems weren't good, and my parents transferred me to a better schools district where I could get a higher level of education in a safer area. And they were just far above my ability. School was just very hard for me. It was very hard.
Were you made fun of?
Oh, I was made fun of.
Were you bullied?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody gets that, and there were kids who had it worse than me. There definitely were. But I got teased a lot.
And that's obviously affected you today. And right now, I can even tell in your voice this nervous energy. What are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling a little exposed and feeling, I feel tightness. Yeah.
How do you best handle stress in your life? Like when you're having worries about your classes, or when a trigger occurs in your life and it reminds you of those days when you were bullied, how do you manage stress in your life?
I used to get paralyzed in it, and I used to just sit with it and not take action. And I try to, no matter how scary it is, look at the problem and see what can I do right now. I try to take action, whether that's researching the problem or doing what I know needs to be done.
You try to problem solve, try to figure out an answer.
I try to try to do something, and a lot of times that backfires because I really should just sit and wait for things to simmer and wait to the results to lay out.
There's a lot of doing with you, a lot of go, prove. Who is Deanna? Who is this person? What are people not seeing that they should see?
Gosh, I wish people could see that I'm a really loving person, and I really want to. I think I come off as cold, and I've heard intimidating, but that's because I'm so afraid. Like every day I'm afraid.
And what are you most afraid of?
Just not making it, not being successful, like if I have to go through life and not reach a certain level of success or be something, I just don't know if I want to do life, because I need to get to this point. Right.
What if you could have one success? Maybe don't take on everything at one time. One success. What could that be? A tangible success. Let's just take it even very short term in next week, this coming week. What could be one success this week?
This week, I mean, just get all my homework done, perform well at work, eat well, treat my body well. I mean,
But don't overwhelm yourself. So here's the thing. Now that you know this as well as I do. So what you tend to do is put together this giant to-do list. And sometimes in life, when we put together so many things on that list, we almost sabotage ourselves, either emotionally or physically, to be able to do all those things. When you look at just next week, what would make you the most proud? If you just nail something, what is that?
That's hard. In just 1 week, I guess.
One success next week. What's the biggest success you want next week?
Just to do well in my class.
Okay.
To really understand the material.
Okay. Do you have a test coming up or a paper?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. But just to study, to do your homework.
Yeah.
And to
to
do
not
that
get
really
distracted.
Well. Okay. So this week, that is your only focus. This week.
Okay.
Okay? I know you want to eat well. I know you want to do this. You want to do that. This week, I want you to set yourself free. Take the chains away that are like on your wrists, because right now you're loaded down with too many things to do, too many things that you have to be successful at, you have to be exceptional at.
Yeah.
And you're enough, just who you are. You are enough. You're a courageous, wonderful woman who is sitting with me today, who is brave to be here and talk about this with our viewers. You know, the thing is that is somebody who I think is going to have amazing achievements ahead of her. But to secure your achievements, to hold the space in your life for those successes, you got to do just that, hold the space. Mm-hmm. So next week, we're going to hold the space for you to do really well at your homework, really well at classes. So it means that if one day you don't eat so well, strive for it, but that wasn't your biggest focus. And then as soon as you start to master more and more, in 2015, what success would mean the most to you to conquer in 2015?
I guess just to have a 4.0 and to be balanced, to not be 100% involved in school, but to also be, really a reliable, stable person at work and having people, to get that acknowledgement from people that I'm doing my job.
Which one means more to you, the 4.0 or balance?
4.0.
Okay. Is that achievable?
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Yeah, it's achievable. I love that. Okay. So it isn't to say that you aren't going to still work on balance, but this year, this week, you need to do your homework. That's the biggest goal. This year, you want a 4.0 status. Mm-hmm. And it may mean that you can't be at every social event. It may mean that you need to make some sacrifices. But that 4.0, that's the big, grand thing that you want, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So what I really want you to focus on moving forward until we talk again is start to simplify your life rather than overcomplicating it. Start to give yourself small successes with also a big success in sight. Is that something you can do?
Yeah.
And lastly, do you believe in yourself?
Sometimes.
Okay. Why sometimes?
It's the same thing, the self-doubt. Mm-hmm. To be very honest, I do until I start thinking, mm-hmm. until I start comparing.
Is it possible that you think too much?
Yeah.
Okay. Possible, right? It's possible that you're enough just as you are. So don't be so hard on yourself, mm-hmm. okay? You're doing great. And so I really want you and I to stay connected. I want you to just focus on the action steps that we've set ahead. And then let's connect again, in a couple of weeks here and just see how that progress is coming. Is that mm-hmm. something we can do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. I believe in you very
much.
You. Okay, thank you. So all of us have goals in our life. All of us tend to take on more than we can chew sometimes. So Deanna, you're not alone. It's definitely something that is just habitual for people in general. So I want everybody today to really step out there, take small successes, really relish in them, embrace them, and most of all, celebrate those successes. We'll be right back with My Nancy's Vision. Today's show has been so inspiring in many ways. I mean, I was just in awe of Shayla Logan. The fact that we can go through so much abuse as human beings, the fact that we can go through torture, want to give up, even almost commit suicide, yet be able to pull it all back and become a love ambassador. Wow, has she taught me that I want to be more loving. You know, unconditional love is such a gift that we can give people. When we know that we can be forgiven, when we know that we can make mistakes, and people in our life will hug us and love us anyway, that is truly something to be treasured. And today, boy, Papa Joe, he's really got me thinking. I need to start walking my 5 miles a day. I need to think more about what I'm eating. I just encourage all of you to take action in your life. Maybe you love going to the gym, do that. Maybe you don't have a gym membership and you want to walk like Papa Joe, do that. Just do something. Living full out is about taking action. It's about knowing that your life is yours to live. There's gonna be highs and lows, there's gonna be mistakes, there's gonna be a lot of sometimes torment or disappointments, but we can learn from those. They can help us to evolve and become better human beings. And really, that's what we're on this journey for. So live your life full out. I want you to get out there, walk, run, love unconditionally. Here's to you living your life full out.